Hello, it's Lee. Well, I wanted to make a quick talk today because I felt the need to rectify or give a simple explanation on our misconceptions in accordance to certain things. Recently, or as always I suppose, I find a lovely desire to indulge in various mysticisms and magical religious sources. Nonetheless, and not the least of which being from anywhere in the world, basically. Right now I'm taking a very lovely trip into African shamanism and traditions. You might notice my colorful shirt. I bought this a few years ago as I had seen my friend, who had worn one very similarly, and I did not realize where it was from until a couple years after, and then I was very extra proud to have purchased it. So anyway, my saying that is simply to mean it's very important to get the right idea about a religion or a background or a mysticism, an understanding, before we seek to judge upon it. Now here's my speech for the day, if you will so honor me by listening. Now, in the West and in Western culture, fortunately and unfortunately, is taking over the world. There's pros and cons to it, and you may be able to sense many of them yourself, of what is good and what is bad about it. Some of the cons of it that I'll mention, apart from some of the pros perhaps, but some of the cons have to do with, I suppose, an inherited ignorance that we take on, because when we watch movies or read stories or get someone else's opinion, second or third-hand knowledge of something, we tend to classify and demonize such a thing before actually taking a look for ourselves. All of my videos, every single one, and especially my series of late on piercing the veil, has to do with our looking for ourselves and not just listening to someone else's words or opinion about it, because otherwise we might not know what we're talking about. Now, recently I've been looking into certain mysticisms, and in all factuality, my own heart, my own soul, my core remembers living on different continents, as perhaps you have as well. Right now I'm having a big African theme where I'm trans-drifting back into that memory. I'm recognizing and accessing a memory within myself that has to do much with that. It may sound funny to say, but at the moment and the last week or so, I've felt very African. I felt that I'm a black man. I know it sounds funny perhaps to some people, but I've accessed this memory in myself. You may do it the same thing. A lot of people, many people, have walked many different countries and places on this planet by this point. And you know what I'm talking about if you do. So there's no apologies, it's more glorifying our own natural history. So that all said, I've been looking into the Vodou, which has been incorrectly called voodoo, and I'm seeing that a lot of people are misunderstanding. Just to interject, it doesn't just have to be about that. Any shaman or witch doctor or non-traditional in as far as Western perception is concerned, this type of healer or shaman or mystic is often demonized because the church said so. You can't do it that way because that's demonic and that's evil, etc., etc. Well, when we actually begin to look for ourselves and not just take someone's word for it because a movie said so, when we look into something for ourselves, when we access our own soul, or we actually maybe read a history book about something, you will agree that we'll find maybe the core of the matter a little bit more so. Now, I'll say it again, in my early 20s I was very staunch, I was very passionate about God and religion, but I was doing things a little bit ignorantly. In the sense of, I guess you feel a certain self-righteousness, some of which is justified, but down the line you learn to be a little more relaxed, you learn to calm down the ego a bit more, you learn to Look at things for what they are as opposed to what you want it to be or what you think you know it to be because you were told that it was such and such. Now I'm very happy and proud to say that I remember a lot of my past lives very simply, and it's just a natural unraveling, and we all can do this. So when I look into the Vodou, for an example, and I've looked into shamanism and mysticism worldwide, and I've been doing this for well over a decade, and I'm very happy to look at a lot of it. And I recommend for anybody to look at a lot of it before forming an opinion about something. Even in the Western world itself, speaking of Caucasian background, look at how the church has demonized ancient witchcraft and druids and different things like this. My own actual blood for this physical white body, half of my blood is Celtic. If I want to include my French and my Ukrainian side, I could say that's a mixture of Gaulois and Germanic. I could say the whole thing is actually one, kit and caboodle, but who's to say? My point being, even within certain structures there is conflict. How much more so when we leave a certain fold or pasture and go into a different area? How much more demonized does something get? People tend, it's like when we learn a new language, or a different language, why is it we learn the swear words first, the curse words? Why is it when we learn about a new religion, or mysticism, or some sort of magical religious practice, we learn the bad things about it first? How dare you look into Wicca and Druidry, that's evil, that's Satan. How dare you look into Vodou, that's black magic. How dare such and such, so on and so forth. Well, unfortunately, the organized political head shapes of religion tend to demonize things because they themselves don't want to enter into the mysticism. In my last video, which was Piercing the Veil 3, the David Star, I was mentioning this. The utter importance to look into things for ourselves and investigate before we judge something. Because if we do so, we're going to assume, and as you know, assume broken down as of you and me. That's always the case. It's very important to look at something with an open, lovely, diplomatic heart and assess the situation properly. If something is evil and negative, it will feel that. There are many practices in witchcraft, and that covers many countries and continents, that are indeed black and evil and wrong. There are many practices which are holy and righteous and beneficial to everybody. The person practicing as well as their household, their tribe, their community, beyond and beyond. So that's one thing I want to mention. I used to be quick to, I don't want to say condemn, but sort of be resistant or hesitant against something, and now I've learned to really suspend judgment and look at it something in and of itself and see whether or not the opinion about this subject matter was accurate or not. It's so important for us to all take the time to investigate something, and then we're going to get a real accurate depiction of a subject. And that could be for anything. It doesn't have to be about religion, spirituality. It could be for anything at all. Any topic you might, or I might like to imagine. So important. Now here's a final word to close this particular video, is that isn't it unique that once we get past all the demonizing of such and such, when we really look into an ancient religion, an ancient mysticism practice, isn't it odd that we find out that they are all saying the same thing? They are, all of them, saying the same thing. Yes, very much so. This just goes to show that anyone who looks will find the same answer when they are sincere. Far be it from the real searcher and seeker of truth and knowledge, love, wisdom, to make into compartments and to smugly assess something incorrectly. It's very important for us to look at something accurately. And then when we connect the dots, a marvelous panoramic picture, inwardly as well as outwardly. So important, so beautiful. I feel so humbled to be able to look at all these ancient practices, and some that are still thriving well today, and see, wow, isn't it interesting that in Hinduism it says this, and in the Druid tradition it says this? It's the exact same thing. And from Africa it says this, and from Australia it says this, and it's the exact same thing. We all come to see that we are a mini God inside of God, for lack of a better terminology. We all come to see that we are all equal. We come to see that we can be one with everything. One of my famous sayings to myself, not to the world, but my famous in my own heart, my favorite famous sayings in my own heart right now, is that God is both monotheistic as well as pantheistic. And I think that all the religions and all the mystical seers had come to that same conclusion. I'm glad that I did, of my own research, not because it said so in Bhagavad Gita or said so mysteriously in the Bible or whatever else. It was a conclusion made by the same heart that looked for it. So that's my speech for today, is just for us to recognize this kind of thing, because it's so important. When we seek, you and I are of the disposition of one or the other. We're seeking to join things, or we're seeking to separate things. Jesus Christ even said, whoever doesn't gather with me scatters. He was speaking on behalf of that I am higher self. Join everything and realize oneness, unity, or else you're still going to remain scattered in the wind and not too sure about something. It's very sacred for us to come to that realization that, wow, we are one. Even when we argue with each other and misunderstand, if we can get past that ego self, recognize one-ship, that's the most beautiful thing in the world. Anyways, those are my thoughts for the exact and precise moment. I wish you well, even if you consider yourself a stranger and you just happened upon my video. It doesn't matter, just no stranger. We are all uniquely linked in love, in oneness, in the deep, deep, deep spirit. And I greet you as I would greet my own mirror. Let us have this unity always and put it as a priority. So important, so important. I want to hug everybody and collect, not disperse. And so closing thoughts is just that. Let's look at something for what it is before we just take someone's word for something. Even all the things I'm saying now, you don't have to take it seriously. Look for yourself and see if what I'm saying has any weight or not. It's very important for us to, with a little discernment, a little sincerity, approach something in that spirit, and then take it on and see if it can be accrued to ourselves or not. So, as for my theme of late, I'm sitting in my African self, and I am all colors. You can see a white guy sitting here, but my face is many colors. When I look in the mirror, I see every continent, country. You can do the same thing for yourself. We are all so many things. And to be proud about it. I am man, I am woman, I am white, black, red, yellow, I am everything, and so are you. It's a beautiful reality. And this gives us just a cause to sigh and just accept it lovingly. It's so liberating. Like the ancient Chinese mystic Lao Tzu said, and I'm going to quote it because I have it on my calendar for this month of April. Please, 1 second. My mother every single year gives me a unique calendar, spiritual based theme. This year, simplicity, inspirations for a simpler life. For April, a quote from Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese mystic who wrote the Tao Te Ching, which is a beautiful work and I recommend it to anybody. And he said this, "Be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you." Amen, Brother Lao Tzu. Shishe, exactly. Because we are one with all. Whether officially in a means of property or not, titles, papers, that's control mechanisms. This means nothing. It's superficial and nonsensical. The whole world belongs to you right now, as well as me, as well as your neighbor. When we realize this, we wish to seek to possess nothing. We obsess over nothing. We just are, and we let things be, and everything is harmony. Harmony is the key to happiness, really, it is. Everybody's been saying this who really thought about it. So that's my message. One love. Namaste, namaskara. So much, as they say in the Swahili, umoja, and that means unity. Umoja is unity. Let's link and join yoga, umoja, as opposed to separate of one opinion or of the other opinion. I think so, really, when it comes down to it. Alright, cheers for now. Watch my other vids. I am available for mystical guidance, and I can give readings, even if by distance. I can give tarot readings and other things. I am very and completely sincere to help anybody. Look into my eyes, read my spirit, and this is how I approach you. I'm able to lovingly assist anyone who wants it. Write me a private message. For very little I can give a lot. I like to love everybody. So, take care for now. Catch you on the flip side. Yin yang, etc. Cheers, my friend. Bye-bye.